Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Morgan Tracy, and this is my review of Invisible Target. Benny Chan directed Invisible Target, a 2007 movie about a gang of robbers and the policemen who are trying to catch them. The movie stars Nicholas Tse, Shawn Yue, and Jaycee Chan, whose Chinese name I don't know. All three of them are cops, but they're three very different characters. Nick Tse's character is heartbroken over the loss of his fiancée. He handles the role well, making his grief seem very believable, and giving some depth to a character that definitely benefits from it. Shawn Yue's character has a hard time understanding that violence isn't the only way you can deal with criminals. He also does a very good job in his role, and I really found him to be entertaining. In the same way that a pit bull is entertaining from a safe distance. You might enjoy watching them, but you wouldn't want to be within striking range. Jaycee Chan is a young, idealistic cop who comes across like the star of some weird, hypothetical Dennis Law movie called The Constable, The Early Years. He's so righteous, pure, and by the book that it almost made me sick. But I also thought that Jaycee Chan did a really good job in the role, managing to sell the character without sinking into maudlin overstatement, which is what often happens with these kinds of roles. But in a sense, you could kind of say that about the whole movie, that it really managed to sell itself well. For me, Invisible Target balances a kind of hyper-stylization on the one hand and a sense of really gritty realism on the other. A lot of the stunts are fairly overstated and quite unrealistic, but a lot of the other action is so impressive that I didn't really mind. Now, this movie looks expensive, if only because they destroy a lot of things, and you can tell that it wasn't cheap to do it. It also helps that the three lead actors do quite a lot of their own action, and since you can really tell, it makes it that much better. Wu Jing and Andy Onchikit play two of the bad guys, and obviously they did a lot of their own action. And as usual, they're a lot of fun to watch doing that sort of thing. Speaking of the bad guys, I found it quite interesting, both when I saw the film in 2007 and when I watched it again for the review, to have a Hong Kong movie with bad guys from China who spoke Mandarin. That doesn't happen anymore. For that matter, it was also interesting to see bad guys who weren't all bad and good guys who weren't all good. I like moral ambiguity. I think it makes movies more interesting, but what do I know about movies, right? The other thing I remember from watching this in 2007 in the cinema was that it was really, really loud. Rewatching the movie also reminded me that this film is a little unfair to Hong Kong police. More than once, the police are shown doing things that are cinematically useful, but utterly illogical and unrealistic. Kind of like seeing Philip with blonde hair. He has a small role in the film, and it took a little getting used to. But there's a lot of interesting small roles in this movie. Sam Lee, Mark Chang, Lam Suet, and Kenny Wong all make appearances, and also make an impression. I'm not going to say it was nice to see Samuel Pang, but it was nice to see him get arrested for attempted leather. At 2 hours, the movie sometimes seems a little bit long, but to me, the ending was strong enough that I could kind of overlook the slow stretches, and there weren't that many of them. I really enjoyed this movie, and it was a fairly unique experience, because I enjoyed the progression of the story, and the characters, and the action. It's rare that I get, 3 out of 3, but I appreciate it, so I can strongly recommend that you watch Invisible Target, assuming, of course, that you spend some money to do so. In the description, there's a link where you could buy a disc. That would be lovely. Maybe you can rent it online. That would be nice too. Just don't steal it. Stealing blows goats. If you enjoyed this review, please leave me a comment. If you didn't enjoy the review, leave me a comment. If you disagree with my stance about stealing movies, get a running jump and go f*** yourself. If you enjoyed these reviews in general, please subscribe to the channel, because that way my life will have some sort of meaning, and maybe if I make enough money, I can start wearing pants during reviews, because right now, I'm not wearing any. Thanks for watching. Rewatching the movie reminded me also of rewind it.